Alright, take a look. Just going to quickly close some stuff and things. Hope you all are having a good night, good afternoon, or if you are in some part of the world, a good morning. Hello, how's it going? Hope you guys are all having a good night, good afternoon, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Hope you guys are all excited for the stream. I just started early just to make sure we're all basically on the right track. It is 8:48 in Australia at the moment, so we'll be started in 10 minutes. 10 minutes or so. New region, so hopefully it doesn't disappoint. But already from a lot of the starting screen, we can see the architecture. Yeah, it's too bad, but maybe you can watch the stream afterwards. What I'll do actually is I will just record this. I'll just upload it as a video, so kind of like a bit of a stream react upload. Just hopefully as a bit of a reaction sort of vid for later on, for the people that didn't catch it. But I'll be basically reacting to this live. Hope you guys all have a good day, but like, I mean, from already like the broadcast, we already got to see some of the preview, and I think I did talk about this in one of my videos already, because we did analyze a little bit of Monto before the video started, and we can already point towards some things, like for example the sandstone pillars, floating city, and also the archway over here seems, ooh, and it starts off with Yang writing letters. And I think as well, we can probably already tell that Yang going to be a rather important character in the foreseeable future. And I think these are all letters that we've received over the couple of years. So, as you guys may know, Yang has been the one writing all these survey letters. And it's really interesting that she is the one that opens up with the 10-minute starting screen, given that it's highly inferred that her and Sui will be the first units in 3.5. So there's still a bit of time left, so if you guys want to grab a drink or whatnot, feel more than free to do so. We will get started rather promptly. Let me just turn on... oh, this should be captioned, so we should be all good. Oh, and the letters are changing. So these are the letters, like basically, the black doors was like the letters that were sent, I think in 1.2, I think it was, 1.2, 1.3. So I think the letters will be changing. The settings definitely changing, as you can see from the visuals. Is it crazy to compare the new Yang to Gabriel? Not too sure. I don't really exactly see the link, because whenever you want to compare angels, like especially within Abrahamic religions, you do want to have a little bit of a connection to the Abrahamic religions themselves. Especially like when it came to, like, I think the closest I came to analyzing angelology when it came to WuWa was Phoebe, because Phoebe does reference Shemuel and all that. So yeah, it might be, but we can see like the letters are changing, the setting is also changing. I think she's still in Jinzhou at the moment, because I do recognize this scene is from, I don't know what it's called. It's like the theater in Jinzhou where like Ling Yang performs, right? It's like that kind of like water garden. And I actually took some photos from the scene for my video analyzing Huanglong's architecture, because this looks a lot like the kind of like the rockery, the gardens, the waterworks architecture that is very reminiscent of like kind of like southern China, especially Jiangsu. And what I find really interesting is that Mengzhou also has similar architecture, but I guess we'll see if that is correct with the upcoming stream in 7 or so minutes. Yeah, I mean, this is usually not the time I stream, because most of the times when I stream, it's around kind of like 7 or 8 hours before this, because usually I would be streaming when a main story quest releases. So this is going to be rather different, because this is when the live stream releases. I don't actually stream every live stream, but decided that since it's a new region, it's a pretty big one, would be good to stream it here. And as we can see, the setting is changing once again, so I'm pretty sure this is just the shores of Jinzhou. So Yang hasn't really left yet. I think one of the most the biggest questions a lot of us will have beginning in the stream is how Yang kind of like transformed into her alter form. So we'll see whether that question's answered or so. But so far, we are seeing all of the letters that Yang wrote us, so it's really good that they're kind of calling back to that. I think if you remember, Goose did say that... sorry, if you guys didn't know, Goose is the lead story writer for Wuthering Waves at the moment, and Goose did say that they love to call back to past events when it comes to all of these, you know, story happenings and characters, just to kind of like implement them into future patches in the story. And it looks like Yang getting her time to shine. I'm not sure if this is Jinzhou in the background. It might actually be a different place. But one thing that was rather interesting is if you guys saw the drip marketing for Yang's alter form, it does show that she is representative of Jinzhou still. So that would be rather interesting. I think her alter form being kind of like Xuanling, which is kind of like... I mean, I'm gonna be very kind of like biased. I like to kind of like translate that as long feather, like a long ornamental feather. Probably is involved with her forte, probably kind of like evolving or either overclocking, as people are guessing. But yeah, if you guys need to leave, more than welcome to. I understand everyone has their circumstances, but hopefully I'll catch you later. Votary of the Voice. Yeah, I mean, I do have a bit of a theory, because I think I did talk about this within my video covering through the drip marketed characters, but within Yang's design, as well as also in a combat animation, she has birds which are basically reminiscent of the azure magpie. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up for you guys right now, since you guys are here anyway. But basically, kind of like she has birds which are very reminiscent of a certain real bird within Chinese culture, being the azure-winged magpie, right? So like if you see kind of like the birds around her like design, they're very reminiscent of a bird within Chinese culture. And what's really interesting about the azure-winged magpie, you can kind of see the similarity already, right? Is that the azure-winged magpie is often seen as a real-life emissary for a figure within Chinese mythology called Shiwangmu. Or otherwise you would know in English as the Queen Mother of the West. And similar to how, for example, I think I say here as well, similar to how, you know, like in Norse mythology, the god Odin would use crows as messengers and as emissaries. In Chinese mythology, Shiwangmu uses the magpies as her emissaries, right? So technically speaking, she has like kind of like these blue phoenixes as emissaries, but the real life equivalent is the azure-winged magpies. And one thing that's really interesting is that when you add that with the fact that the wind is often seen as the courier, the natural courier of messages and communication within Chinese culture, what you kind of get is Yang, especially since we know she is, like, as you said in the chat, a votary of the voice, it kind of basically just makes sense that messages are a really big component of her design and her aesthetic, right? Because everything about her design screams like courier, messages, and all that stuff, which is something that we've already seen since she delivers all of our survey mail, right? But anyhow, we'll see how that kind of plays out. One thing that was really interesting was that if you guys have seen kind of like the combat drip marketing of like Yang Yang Xuanling. I'll just call her YY, like Yang Yang XL, okay? For the sake of it. But her combat animation has her calling something from the sky, and I think that's kind of like very similar to, that's probably like a callback to like Shi Wangmu, or like the Queen Goddess of the West, because usually when you call something from the sky, usually like a mortal calls from something from the sky in Chinese culture, it's most likely lightning, because lightning is like used to like exorcise demons, right? That's what Buling does. But Yang Yang calls something else, and I'm kind of interested as to what that is. Probably has to do with her forte, but we'll see, since there's 1 minute left of the stream. Yeah, 1 minute, so we will see how we go. Alright. So I'll just kind of like save my voice for a bit, since I'm going to probably be talking for a rather long time. But yeah, last chance for any of you guys to like hop on the toilet or whatnot, but we're starting soon. But looks like Yang Yang hasn't gone to Mangzhou and all of these like kind of like idle animations, because she's just been writing in Jinzhou by looks of it. But if you guys didn't know, all of these letters are basically just the letters that Yang Yang has been sending us across all the patches. It's really nice that they're kind of calling back to that. Apologies as well, I am a little bit sick still, so if you hear me coughing, it's because of that, unfortunately. We are indeed at a very Chinese time in our life. You are correct in that regard, my sir. Alright, looks like it's starting. Ah, I see. So that's incense? Alright, let me know if you guys have any problems with the audio, by the way. Let me start recording before I forget. Hold on. Alright, so hello everybody. If you guys are watching this in video form, you guys can see this was analyzed and recorded live. So, if you guys are in the chat, you guys can say hello to the people watching the video. But yeah, hope you guys are all ready for the 3.5 live stream. Yeah, you guys can already see like the automation. Like you can kind of see like, as we predicted before, these, I'm assuming this is Shuanfang, right? The city of Shuanfang has a lot of this mechanical automated technology, but there's also a really Chinese aesthetic. I think we talked about this before, but this thing in the background, that's really based on like the sandstone pillars of like Zhangjiajie, which is a real place in Chinese, like China, obviously, right? So if you guys didn't know, we talked about this before, but Zhangjiajie, right? This is like basically the only place in China that has these kind of like sandstone pillars that were created through erosion. So I was kind of like, that's why I was kind of thinking that this was based in Hunan, because this is where like Hunan is the province in which this appears. But no, we'll see. But there's a lot of kind of like this floating city amidst kind of like high peaks. By the looks of it as well, there's also like these kinds of houses and stuff among these mountains.
是啊，这么看过去，它的气质很特别，有一种身处世外的清幽感，而且它的造型也很特别呢。仔细观察，它的结构好像并不是。
Doesn't seem entirely still.
你确实捕捉到了这座城市比较特别的地方。我们现在所处的位置是玄方地界，这座城叫玄方城。
Yep, so as we predicted, it is Shuanfang. And specifically, I think it is Shuanfang Hold. If you guys check the lore of Jinzhou, one thing you guys might actually see is that before Jinzhou became a city, Shuanfang and kind of like the mountain pass through Shuanfang was actually the primary defensive area that protected the rest of Guanglong, right? So after Jinzhou was built, it took over this job, but the reason why Shuangfang hold is because it actually serves as a defensive kind of like emplacements upon kind of like the mountain pass, I'm assuming, into Inner Huanglong. City of Mechanisms, yeah, we know that. Xuanfang Don't sound familiar. They're not part of Jinzhou. I think we know that already, guys. So yeah, I think we know that already. Like, we kind of like guess this already because there's a lot of lore, like for example, Buling's story that does give us the indication, as well as also Jinzhou's map lore, by the way, which I think they added around like 2.0, which gives us the indication that Mengzhou borders, Mengzhou and Shuangfang border each other alongside Jinzhou, and Shuangfang is kind of like one of the cities or towns as a part of Mengzhou, but I think they're actually separate. So one thing that a lot of you guys got confused on, I think, is that this floating city in the background is not actually Mengzhou itself, it's Shuangfang, because you have to enter Shuangfang to pass the mountains to get to Mengzhou. Yeah, exactly. So it's like the heartland of Mengzhou. Yeah.
结合此前我们拼凑出的孟州印象，那里应该是一个水草丰茂、桥廊水榭的附属。
Landscapes, bridges, and pavilions. And I think we kind of saw that already, but that description was literally in the glossary term that Buling told us when we first met her in September.
之地，从我们周围的山水韵致里也略能感受一二。
And yeah, you can see there's tons of like Chinese architecture in the background as well.
是的，
Yeah.
虽说漂泊者还未真正踏足黄龙其他州域，但一路走来啊，其实已经遇到过不少来自黄龙各地的人。
That is true. Youhu. I think Youhu was she? I swear there was someone from Chongzhou. I'm not sure who was from Chongzhou. I know Buling is from Mengzhou. I swear there was someone from Chongzhou, but I don't know who it is. And then of course Chouyun is from Mingting, but he's been to Chongzhou before. 还有浪迹江湖的久远，他也曾是明廷政府司的一员。Yeah, so he's part of the ISA, which is like basically like Mingting, right? But I think if you remember from Chouyun's trailer, actually, we might actually just pull this up real quick. But if you guys remember from Chouyun's trailer, he was actually traveling through Chongzhou, which is actually one of the cities that border Mingting with the capital, right? So kind of like over here, when he was like training the kid, this is like this is Chongzhou, right? And basically when they were traveling, they were actually traveling from Chongzhou to the border of Mingting. And so this bridge where they part is actually like, once they pass a mountain, they get to Mingting. So besides Chongzhou, Mingting, Jinzhou, and Mengzhou, we don't actually know, I think, any of the other regions within Huanglong at the moment. But that's the that's the limit of our geographical knowledge so far.
这来自黄龙各地的面孔，早已将黄龙的模样一块块拼凑在了漂泊者的旅途见闻中了。也是
No. So Chongzhou was not the name of the noodles. It's actually it's actually the name of sort of like a place, because the reason why is because the word Zhou in Chinese is always used to kind of like talk about sort of like a province or city, right? So for example, let's just say, where am I from? So where am I from in China, right? So like Zhou in this case would be like, it means city, right? So like this is where I'm from in China, and it's kind of like the kind of like, how do I say it? It's one level down from a province. So usually it's what you use to describe a city in Chinese. The noodles that you're probably thinking of is from Chongqing. The reason why everyone thinks about Chongqing noodles is because these are probably like one of the most famous noodles in China, like kind of like the spicy noodles. But yeah, that's kind of like probably where you get the impression from.
之后往更远的地方看看啦。那两位策划不如趁这个机会带大家一起回顾一下黄龙的故事。
Okay, so probably just recapping Huanglong's story. Send as both witnesses. I don't think we've actually ever gotten this visual before, by the way. That's a really cool visual we might revisit. I don't think we've ever gotten this visual. This might be something that we only see in the 3.5 story, right? So that's Imperator, that's Jue, and the Exorcist Triad is like a de facto Sentinel. I guess he's earned the right to be a Sentinel. But I think that this is a 3.5 visual because we've never seen it before. One capital and 6 cities, and as we know, they have 7 sentinels. And each of these 7 sentinels of Huanglong are based on, as we talked about before, the 7 mansions of the Azure Dragon, right? So, hold on, this is the wrong one, give me a second. 7 mansions of the Azure Dragon. So it's based on kind of like the 7 mansions. So all of like the Huang Sentinels, I think, in case you don't know already, they're all based on this, right? So we have already Zhao, or which is like Jue, right? And then we have Feng, which is confirmed to be the solar heir. And then we also have Xin, or Xin, which is the current sentinel of Mengzhou. So yeah, that's kind of like, if in case you guys didn't know, just a heads up. So yeah, well, of course it's really interesting because, as we know, Huanglong's really interesting. It's the only country we know so far that has multiple sentinels. I had a kind of theory that Ashinohara might have had 2 sentinels, but I don't think that's confirmed as of yet. Yeah, we know about Xin already. Countless soldiers. Yeah, happy to have you guys. Share more than a border. Can foresee the course. Yeah, so one of the things as well within Jinzhou's lore, if you guys didn't know, is that Jinzhou is the newest city that was added to Huanglong. So what they're saying here, which is really interesting, is that it seems that the other sentinels, like, for example, Xin, could foresee that Jue would arrive, which is really interesting because it seems they have some sort of telepathic link with each other. And this is what I was saying, right? Before Jinzhou was made, you can actually read this within Jinzhou's lore, by the way, because before Jinzhou was created, the front defensive border was most likely just Mengzhou and Shuangfang, right? Exactly. That's what I was thinking. And you can actually read this within Jinzhou's map lore. I don't want to bring up the game right now, but if you click Jinzhou's map and read some of the map lore, this Jin Mountain Pass is actually mentioned within that. Frontier Court made a choice. Okay. Oh, so they established Shuangfang as a defensive capital. That's why it's called Shuangfang Hold. But, so Xin... So Xin the Moon... We know it's Xin the Moon Fox because it has to be the Moon Fox, right? If you guys didn't know already, basically we've kind of like... The Moon Fox, the fox of kind of like the heart in the Azure Dragon, it has to be a Moon Fox, because that's just literally, as we said before, it's just the constellations of the Azure Dragon, right? So that's how it works. But then the Moon Fox made that decision. That's really interesting. Frontier and Mengzhou's Frontier Court made a choice. The land of Shuangfang to make a city. What I'm kind of confused on is like, why didn't they make that city earlier then? It might be, for example, that there's something. It's a kind of like maybe like a double-edged sword. There's like some bad things that happen when they make the city, perhaps. But we know that Shuangfang is kind of like a defensive capital. Yeah, okay. 以此阻止北洛野的残象城扩散，可以说玄方地界是孟州与荆州之间的要地。Okay, that makes sense. 最终在两州岁主、祭亭和将士们的 The court of wait. 要地。 with both sentinels. The Court of Savante. Oh, so this was this is the event, the battle that was talked about within Jinzou's map lore, is that Jiwei and Xin, as well as the Court of Savante, which is really interesting, stopped the attack. I actually did not know that. So this is like basically that confirms that the Court of Savante was involved with this defensive battle. Yeah. Yeah, and this is actually talked about in Jinzou's map lore, by the way. I'll see at the end of the stream if I can actually bring this up.
是的，这座建在两州接壤处的城，不只是屏障，更是当年那场守护的见证。金州与孟州之间的联系，远比我们看到的更深。
Okay, that makes sense.
说完这些，再看远处的玄方城，确实让我有了一些不一样的感受。虽说此前我们只见过荆州的风貌，但黄龙各州之间那些我们不曾知晓的渊源与羁绊，其实早已刻在这些山水城池之中了。
是的，荆州虽不是黄龙最繁华之处，却是漂泊者的起点。
That's true. That's
天
true.
下之大，四海之内，漂泊者的脚
Going
步
back to China
也会
wise.
继续迈向黄龙更广阔的天地。孟州玄方地界。
Oh, okay. So wait, that's Sui Sui. Okay, so that's definitely Sui Sui, and that's her bird.
是下一
And so that's how you enter Shuanfang. Oh, that looks really good.
站。而漂泊者
And you can see this architecture as well. Like that's the sandstone pillars we talked about in the background. But one thing you're kind of seeing is that a lot of this architecture is really similar to Jinzhou in a way, but it has a lot more different greenery and nature involved. So if you guys know, for example, like Jinzhou's theater, right, like where Ling Yang performs, it's kind of like that was expanded to become like a whole city.
即将在玄方地界展开的旅途，会从3.5版本。
Okay, I can see the vision. There's a lot of emphasis. I'll just go back actually. There's a lot of emphasis on rockery and water and gardens, which is something it's something that you see which is much more reminiscent of southern China than the north. Because I think I talked about this in one of my videos before, but northern China's cold, guys. So there's not a lot of gardens like this because you can't really maintain a garden. But in southern China, you see, in a lot of like the provinces, you see a lot of this kind of design. There's like these waterways, there's rockery, there's kind of like all these like nature and trees and stuff because the conditions are like hotter and like much more accommodating for this kind of architecture and design.
那么话不多说，就让我们跟随接下来
Okay, let's watch the
的
trailer.
启程前往玄方地界，一起步入这个山水与科技并
Mountains and rivers exist alongside technology. You know what I talked when I actually talked about this before. Give me a second, guys. There's actually let me see if I can bring it up real quick. Give me a second. I actually talked about this within one of my videos, I think. I'm not going live, I'm watching my own videos, I know. So like this video, I think I did talk about this, but there is this philosophy, right? Within, what was it? It was like kind of like a certain, yeah, like the Shang
Stands out to
style.
me.
The Shang style of Hunan, right? Because a lot of the mountainous areas in China have like this philosophy where you blend mountain and river into your construction, right? Instead of kind of like demolishing nature, you build your architecture into nature. And that's actually not just, for example, like this architectural thing. It's actually pretty important, for example, like feng shui, right? So if you see, for example, you guys know like feng shui, right? What do you guys think feng shui means? It literally means wind and water, okay? So it's actually like a pretty big consideration in design. So whenever there's like natural, like kind of like, let's just say, let's bring the chat back up. Whenever there's kind of like this consideration of mountains and rivers, it's always usually built into nature And that's why kind of like I feel like this existing alongside technology vibe is such a big thing for Shuangfang and Mengzhou, because it's actually just a core tenet of Chinese architecture in general.
并存的地方吧。
Okay, so we can already see like the automata mechanics here. Interesting. And I think we saw this before, but tons of like these like flying like automata mechanics. I'm very interested to see what role they play in regards to like the city's function, because my theory before all of this was that they are integral to the city's defense because they're in a really bad position. But we can see, oh, this city looks really good. So it's literally a floating city. Considering as well that they said before that the court of Cervantes participated in the defense of this mountain pass alongside with Jinzhou, I'm honestly thinking now that the court of Cervantes at least helped Xin create this technology like this. That's Rover. But it looks really good so far. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of this architecture. This is definitely different from Jinzhou, but you can already see a lot of this architecture is similar in some capacity. Like a lot of nature is flowing into design. It's very similar to, like, as I said before, this is very inspired by Southern Chinese architecture. Okay, and I think that's a jade pendant. Okay. Yeah, this is I can recognize a lot of things here. Okay, so that's automata mechanics. There's a lot of like this jade coloring, which doesn't surprise me. It's a very fortuitous color within Chinese culture. Okay, so a lot of like bamboo, a lot of kind of like rockery, and that's sweet, we know that's sweet. And I think as well, we talked about this, they talked about this in the drip marketing, but a lot of these projections are just made of water. So Sui is kind of like using water to make these projections. But you can already see, for example, like a lot of these are very reminiscent of, let's just say, like traditional Chinese paintings. So, I think I actually, like, look, I can't pan a camera, but like, I have like some of these hanging in my house, but yeah, like these are all very reminiscent of these like kind of like ink paintings, right? You hang them in scrolls and stuff like that, and it's pretty, like, I think it's pretty obvious if you have one that this is like what it is, right? Like you see, for example, hold on, you see like, for example, if she can play them again, like this pagoda, these mountains, rivers, right? Very important. And this is Jingran. So, I kind of want to translate what that text is, but I think it may just be gibberish. We'll see. But he carries a lantern. Okay. And I think one thing that someone said is that Jingran actually carries something called a Luoyang shovel, right? And this is a shovel that is kind of like you dig vertically, and it's specifically designed for tomb raiding, actually. So if, for example, there are like Court of Cervantes ruins, like what Lux told us, then it seems that Jingran might be a bit of a tomb raider. And this is Qingshao. Okay, so the other theory I had with like Qingshao, I think we talked about this before, is that this is someone that has actually appeared within Buling's story, right? Especially because in Buling's story, actually, hold on, let me see if I can just get it up real quick. In Buling's story, there's someone that actually shows up playing a guqin, right? So a white robed woman sat nearby guqin in her arms. If you guys don't know what a guqin is, it's kind of like the instrument she was literally just playing, right? So it's like this. So I think it's basically confirmed that Qingshao was the person within Buling's story, right? This sort of person who was kind of like, because in this story she was competing with Jianxin in a peak in Shuangfang, so it kind of like makes sense, right? It's basically confirmed that she's a person in Buling's story. And she summons celestial swords. Okay, so this is Yang. I'm assuming she overclocks here. let's just shut up for a moment. Ah, so this is kind of so she's affected by her memories, I'm assuming. Because if you guys didn't know, oh, sorry, I keep on getting sidetracked, but when she was young, I think when she was like 14, Young was actually attacked. Her caravan was attacked, and she was like basically, I think like I don't think she lost her parents, right? Um, Ruthless attack from exiles when traveling on a family's caravan, force to fend for herself. So basically, she was attacked when she was young, right? And I think that this is a bit of a reference to her past. So this is how, like, she kind of like, okay. I think, there's so much stuff to translate. I don't know if you can translate that, but these are like the paper lanterns. And the final character, of course. I think everyone's been waiting for this character, right, guys? Yeah, okay. Yeah, everyone was waiting for that, I think. Yeah, I don't know what else to say at the moment, but for Shining Light the Moonrise, we all know that Sin is the Moon Fox, so this all makes a lot of sense. And look, okay, I'll talk about it later because there might be information that is revealed later. I do have some theories on who Sin is, but we'll talk about that later. But that's Sui, of course. That's Young's sister. Oh, so that's Rover's new. So everyone was wondering what Rover's new element was. I'm assuming it's Electro, right? Because like we already have Havoc Rover, and he has like this kind of like crossbow. It's kind of like shield crossbow device. It seems very reminiscent of the order, because the whole city is made of like mechanics, right? So it kind of like makes sense that he has a mechanical weapon now. Yeah, Electro Rover. That's Electro Rover. Oh, okay. Oh, so like all of these like automatic like mechanical machines become evil. So maybe they were corrupted by like the we still don't know what the Frenodia de Mungzo is, by the way. So they were corrupted somehow. And this is like maybe like the boss or something. Yeah, it looks like the boss. It's definitely the boss, guys. Okay, so it's like this walking building. Okay. Yeah, that looks like boss material. And that's, yeah, so that's like, if you guys enjoy Wuxia Slop, you guys will know that's Chinsha, right? And she has the Celestial Sword, or I would think it's like the Cloud Sword or the Celestial Sword. It's kind of like, Wuxia thing. So she summons multiple swords, okay. And that's Yang's Alter form, okay. What's really funny is that I don't think in this trailer, they still haven't answered how Yang goes into her other form. Blade of the Past resounds lingering dream hymns. If my spider sense is telling me anything, I'm going to assume that this sounds way better in Chinese. So I will be kind of looking at what the Chinese name for us later. But one thing you guys may have noticed is that Male Rover changed her clothes. I'm pretty sure this is a new fit for Male Rover. I'm not sure. But you can also see Sin here. The reason why Sin is always in the dark is because, as we said before, she is the Moon Fox. But by the looks of it, I think that one thing that's really interesting about Sin that I didn't really consider is that Sin is actually older than Joy. Any references? I don't know, because I mean, I don't think like these like transforming mechanics are exactly a part of like Chinese culture specifically. But I do think they're kind of like inspired by the Court of Savante tech. Like this automata mechanics is like it screams Court of Savante stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if like Rover's new weapon is based on that. Is it Sin or Sin? It depends on your Chinese accent. I think it'll be fine if you say either of the two, as long as it's like look, the thing with Chinese is a very contextual language. So you can say either. I like to say Sin like without the H, but it's whatever. This shift in atmosphere, definitely a big shift in atmosphere.
这首歌曲也将会在不久后正式上架
Oh,
各大
okay.
音乐平台，
So they're
请
releasing
高
a
粉们
song.
关注。
I think they try. I feel like this song was originally in Chinese though, so they dubbed it into English.
后续官方自媒体的信息。
好听，好看，看完的感觉像是从一张
It did look really good. Look, I'm like, honestly, I feel like the trailer, like, I'm gonna be kind of like brutally honest. The trailer was kind of whatever, right? It's just that Shuangfang looks good to begin with. So whatever, I feel like whatever trailer you shoot of this place is gonna look good by default because the map looks good, right? I think the trailer was kind of like, whatever, to be honest. Except for that one scene with Sin, because I think we're all here for Sin, okay?
青绿山水，
It does look like the mech abomination, so I'm assuming that maybe like all of these like structures get corrupted by some sort of Frenodian. We have like, the thing is, that trailer did not answer a lot of our questions. Like, we don't know how Yang changes forms, and we don't know what evil force of Frenodian is affecting Mengzhou yet.
而且啊，我发现这里的机关科技
Chemical technologies hidden among Gardens Mountains, yep.
非常奇妙。
And I feel like that's going to be the theme of Shuanfang as well as Mengzhou, is kind of like this blend of technology with nature, right? Mountains and rivers. As I said before, it's a really big philosophy, not just within kind of like the Chinese architecture, but also culture, to build and live alongside mountains and rivers, right? There's this kind of like, I don't know if I can translate this saying very well, but within, for example, like our culture, you live and you eat next to and with where you live, right? So for example, if you live on a mountain, you live and coexist with the mountain. If you live next to the coast, you coexist and live with the ocean, right? If you live in the plains, you do the same thing there. So this coexistence with environment is a really big part of the culture, and especially the architecture, as you can see here, which is why I feel like the whole theme is going to be kind of based around that as just a general idea.
是的，我们希望新版本能给玩家带来全新的
Fresh audiovisual experience,
一
okay,
起
that's
感受
good.
这种黄龙特有的东方
Eastern inspired aesthetics, yeah. It's after kind of like having to deconstruct a lot of European symbolism with Renacita and Lahairoi, I think I can take a bit of a break and go into a very Chinese time of my life temporarily.
美学。
And I'm sure, of course, when we go back to New Fed, I'm going to have to open up my English books again.
玄方城是一座有东方韵味
Rich in
的
Eastern
机关
charm, yep.
精巧机关藏于亭
Yep,
台
and like, look, I won't say this like anymore, but like machinery hiding along just natural kind of like architecture and nature. You guys know the philosophy behind that already, right? I don't need to repeat that.
界，希望可以让漂泊者在层峦叠翠、烟波浩渺间拥有不一样的
Mist-covered
体验。
waters, yep.
嗯，古
Elegance and
雅风格
ingenuity
独特
coexist. That's
回来
exactly
一
what I was
转
saying.
又是一片新的天地，一步一景根本看不够呀！而且啊，我还注意到 PV 里还展现了一些玄方城的生活气息，
Everyday life,
市集
yep.
中人来人往。
Look, and I feel like as well, one thing they didn't mention yet is that within the glossary entry of Mengzhou that we first read when Bu Ling talked to us in Septimon, is that Mengzhou is a merchant, kind of like mercantile hub, right? It's a place where people do business quite a lot, where merchantry, like kind of like economics and Taoism coexist. So it doesn't really surprise me that Shuangfang and all that stuff is like very heavy in, for example, Taoism and like, this business kind of side of things, because it literally said we've already gotten descriptions that kind of like support that idea.
巷里饭香弥漫，酒馆杯盏相碰间，很有
I feel like
气
as
氛。
well, like it's like it's kind of like I feel like every like Wuthering Waves region had this kind of dichotomy where everything is like happy sunshines and rainbows on the surface, and then underneath it's just like doom and despair. So we'll see where that comes
生活
up.
的地方就有快乐与温情。这座城一面体
Well,
现
it holds back
一
TDs.
面
Yep.
也有属于自己
Yep,
的
that's correct.
日常。
I just really want to know
共存
what the
守护与
threat
炊烟同在
that is like affecting it is, because I really don't think it's just gonna be the same Frenodian like other frags, right? I'm pretty sure Mengzhou has their own Frenodian.
精密与城防的肃穆，也能接触到那些平凡而厚实的
Okay.
人间温度。
Yep.
前面也提到过，玄方城守护着玄方地界与孟州、荆州的悠悠岁月的安宁。
So yeah, it's like Shuangfang Hold was the defensive kind of like fort before Jinzhou became a thing.
有且可靠的保护。不过看到 PV 里一些风雨欲来的紧张画面，隐隐感觉这次玄方城
Something may have happened. Yeah, okay. Now we're getting to the interesting part.
确实还挺复杂的。在3.5版本中，我们将回到阔别已久的荆州。
Okay.
这次回来
Check on old friends in Jinzhou. Okay.
朋友们，漂泊者确实很久没有回来
That is true. Yes, it's been a long time.
让人惦念的。
主要就是想荆州的大
Rover simply missed everyone in Jinzhou.
就感觉到气氛
The mood fell off. Okay.
茶馆和街巷少了往日的明快。
So there is something happening.
最近的失踪案，那些失踪的人都指向了同一个
Oh
方
my
向
god, like wow, Zetsu appears in the story again. That's kind of crazy.
玄方地界。
Okay.
不仅如
Oh, so you joined them again.
棘手的事情，杨央和赤霞一路追查这件事，在玄方城门外，他们遭遇了大量
Oh, so they travel to Shuangfang. Okay.
如今赤霞重伤归来
Return
杨央
injured.
下落不明。
Oh, Yang Yang went
据赤霞
missing.
所说，杨央为了让他平安回来，只身穿过了玄方地界突然打开的山门，自此
Oh, there's a mountain gate. Okay.
从未出过差错的机关城，偏偏在这个时候出现变故。
So there's is still being really vague about what this threat is.
按照这些已知情况推断，
Oh my god. Dude, you never expected this guy to show up again, did you guys? If you guys told me that you guys still held out hope for Shangling Yao to be in a story, I would call you a liar, okay?
泱泱和那些失踪的人，现在应该还在。
You guys definitely expected him to never
没有
appear
人知道
again.
里面发生了什么，具体的情况还是要到玄方地界才能调查清楚，并且同样交集的还有
Someone
来
else.
荆州
Oh,
探望
Yang
的
Yang's. Oh, so you're gonna meet Sui Sui, who came to Jinzhou. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So you're gonna meet her before you even meet Yang Yang. Like the whole quest is just finding out where the hell her sister is. Okay.
泱泱原来还有一个姐姐吗？
And we kind of
给
knew
大
that
家
already.
介绍一下，
Yep.
是的，泱泱的姐姐名为穗穗，听说这位穗穗小姐自信明媚，行事利
And
落，
she also like runs a merchant guild in like Mingting, which so she's like a big shop basically.
是个不简单的人物。这次她也会和我们一起同行，寻找妹妹。
Okay.
漂泊者将与穗穗一起进入玄方城。
So you'll go to Shuang. Okay, I mean, look, that kind of makes sense.
一步步接近真相。
So you actually have to travel to Shuangfang through the mountain pass, which seems incredibly dangerous.
名为梁渊，
Raft the
他
kite.
似乎曾被泱泱吸引，如今出现在了我们身边，也会为我们
So a raft. I'm assuming the raft the kite is like the mechanical bird. Wait. I think I know what the raft the kite is. Hold on, guys. I think I know what the raft the kite is. We'll kind of like look at this later, guys. Give me a second. Was the raft the kite? No, it wasn't this. Hold on, give me a second, guys. Was it like the bird in this trailer? Like this bird? Was this the raft the kite? I feel like that's what it was. Because like this bird appeared so much in this trailer. Like, like obviously it was important, but like I just didn't know why it was important. But maybe that's what the raft the kite is? It feels a lot like the Septimont trailer, but we'll see.
之上的机关城，重伤的
A severely injured
下落
Chisha.
不明的泱泱，
Yeah.
事情紧张起来了。那么接下来就请
The thing is, like, the problem is we still don't know what the actual problem is. We have no idea what the Frenodian Mongzol even looks like.
我们介绍即将在3.5版本开启的潮汐任务吧。
Or if maybe there's not even a Frenodian at all just yet. Or like, not a new Frenodian at least.
山雨欲来
The wind before the storm,
潮汐
okay.
任务第4章第2幕。
One links. Oh, okay. So I know this is definitely translated from Chinese into English, but wind before the storm, we all know that Yang Yang has to do with wind, right? And so I feel like this first version is going to be more focused on Yang Yang, right? I don't actually think that you are going to find Yang Yang in the first story. You might find her in the second story. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just a segue quest after you find Yang Yang or something. But you guys know Yang Yang, her like second name is Shuangling, and Shuangling is a reference to like it's really hard to translate, but let's just say it means long feather, right? Like long feather. So when the storm is quelled, of course, that means that I'm assuming that she has you found Yang Yang, right? Oh, wait. So you found her hat. I think I think a lot of people were kind of talking about Yang Yang's hat within the trailer a lot. Because in one of the letters she says she sends you a hat, but I feel like that might have been kind of like a bit of a mistake or just a random thing in the letters. Okay. Wait. So what awaits? So you do find her within Shuangfang Hold. I don't think Overfrax is coming back because Overfrax is really exclusive to Jinzhou. Like, I don't think it's gonna be Overfrax. Like we know that. I think all the cities in Huanglong have their own Frenodian because we do know that Chongzhou has their own Frenodian. It's actually been mentioned in the story before. Oh, okay. So like this is how like Yang Yang loses her hat, I guess. Because if you guys remember, like in her alter form, she doesn't have a hat, guys. So yeah. Actually, look, when I think about it, look, if Yang Yang is the first unit to pull in the banner, I'm pretty sure she's going to get saved by the first chapter of the story. It just makes sense from a logistical perspective. Sky Scribe Emillary. Oh, interesting. Oh, so you switch perspectives. Okay. I think they did this a little bit in the Frolova story already, but I think they're making this kind of like a more fundamental mechanic. Okay. I'm not entirely opposed to this because, like, it does make main story quests a little bit interesting. It's kind of like, for example, if you guys remember, like, there's some main story quests like Chacona's quest, which have, like, specific mechanics tied to them. As long as they make them permanent, like, I'm honestly not opposed to, like, this kind of stuff. A new main quest. Segue. Oh, this is so it's 2 main story quests and a segue. The Chant of Unseen Ties. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. So I'm already seeing this art and I already know, like, this is definitely Sui Sui. So I think Sui Sui comes in the second part of this update because this art is definitely Sui Sui based, right? So I think there's 2 MSQs based on Yang Yang and then there's going to be a segue on Sui Sui. Okay, that makes sense. Untold story. Wait. So is it based on Yang Yang or Sui Sui? Because I thought that this was like Sui Sui's art, but maybe not. But we definitely like they're really keeping hush hush about how she turns into like this form, which is like fine, I guess. It's fine, whatever. And also one thing I want to talk about as well is that you really see it very clearly in this shot, but these are definitely just the Azure Wing magpies that we talked about before, right? So as we talked about before, like I can already like sniff Yang Yang's symbolism from a mile away, okay? We talked about this already. It's based on the Azure Wing magpie. And these were the animals. If you guys were like kind of like not here from the beginning of the stream, these are the animals that are the envoys of a mother goddess in Chinese culture called Shi Wangmu, right? The Queen Mother of the West. So yeah. Court of Savante element related group. Like that's possible, I think, because especially like we have run into like the Court of Savante offshoot, which were kind of like problematic. The one that was in Jinzhou was literally funded by the Firaxidus, okay? So they're kind of like weird. And they haven't talked about Geshu Lin either. I think that was like a pretty big question that everyone's thinking about. Where's Geshu Lin? They haven't talked about him yet, unfortunately. Cloud Ride. Oh, so this is a new motorbike. Cloud Ride Expedition motorbike chassis. So they're maintaining the motorbike, but are they gonna allow you to use flight? Well, maybe flight is too OP or something. I don't know. I'm just gonna skip some parts of this just to speed it up. So next up, Mengzhou fast track. Oh, this is for new players. Okay, so like this is for new players. They can basically just skip ahead in the story. Okay. I think they kind of like had to do that for the Cyberpunk collab, but I've never been like a per se new player since I was day one, but it's good. It's good to give people options. Let's kind of like skip ahead. Mechanisms await. Oh, the geographical preview. Okay, let's go. I feel like though, like I'll just let you guys watch this because I think I talked a lot about what I need to talk about already. So I'll pause the video if I need to. So a lot of like this, you know what this reminds me of? So I think earlier in the video I talked about I'm like from a specific city in China, right? And there's like actually an architecture kind of like style. I don't know what it's specifically called. There's like this kind of like it's kind of like this circular house that how do I say this? It's like this circular house. I mean, look, it's a lot of kind of like the similar architecture, but there's like this what is it called? What is it called? Oh, it's called Tulo, right? It's like this kind of like house where you would build like this circular kind of like housing unit, right, where multiple families would live, and it would look like this. Kind of like multiple levels of kind of like balconies stretch upon each other with multiple households. And that kind of reminds me of like the way they designed a lot of these like these kind of like balconies and roofings, like multi levels. But we've already talked about already. A lot of the greenery, rockery, and stuff like that is very reminiscent of Southern Chinese architecture, which is where I'm from. A lot of like these kind of like doorways as well. Yeah, I think this establishing shot really puts into perspective the idea of like this mountain river architecture style, like building into the environment. And as I said before, like, I think the trailers for this live stream were kind of mid. It's just that Strongfang looks really fucking good. So like, whatever you film of this place is gonna look great. I think this is like the central place by the looks of it. But like, I didn't actually realize this was this big. So this is like the central place, I'm assuming. Yeah, like tons of this architecture. And there's like lots of water as well, which is very southern. Arched roofs, stuff like that. Yeah, like the gate into where though is like my question, right? And it snows as well. Oh, okay.
在刚刚的视频里，我好像看到，在玄方地界中，有的地方机关多变。
Precision engineering.
我们先来说说玄方，
Okay.
能展驱动着它。
Powers its movement. Oh. Contain and defend against TD outbreaks. Power by cutting edge technology. And there's like tons of flying vehicles as well, as long as like mechanics. Pieces shift to create new layouts, like movable city. Guys, last time, like okay, like the last time I saw like movable cities was like in Mortal Engines, okay? Like this is way cooler than Mortal Engines, so I'm looking forward to it. so they can be independently reconfigured.
处处透着机关术特有的
Oh, so it's like multiple like modular interlocking pieces. But on wait.
惊奇感。
Doesn't rely on human labor but on auto puppets. Okay. So I was actually this actually answers one of the questions I had, was that what do the automata mechanics play into this? Because they seem very essential for the functioning of the city, and now we know that they are basically kind of like the labor force. That makes sense. Okay. Created by Sentinel Sin. So because I think in the original description it just said that Sin directed the creations of these, but it looks like Sin directly made them. That's actually pretty big.
200年来，机关城会定期变换结构，释出部分残像。
Designated TDs are released.
启动击溃换防，在城中围困。
Wait. What do you mean by?
释出部分。
What do you mean by every 200 years TDs are released?
200年来，机关城会定期。
Structure periodically shifts.
释出部分残。
TDs are released. Why?
启动击溃。
Okay, so wait. Also, the other thing is that if TDs are released, that implies that there's a containment facility for them, right? So if you're releasing TDs, you have to contain them. And there is a place, there is a character that we have already been kind of like eyeing in regards to containment, right? Being Swarming, right? A lot of kind of like the lock motifs and stuff like that. And she, her whole bloody kind of like name literally means sealing away the darkness or some shit, right? So over 2 centuries. So I'm assuming maybe like they have a prison and they have to empty out the prisoners or something, because I did kind of actually theorize that they have like some sort of TD prison. I don't think Sin has a resonator, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Like, she seems like she kind of like acts very independently. Okay, celestial ring formation. Yep. So that's like the levitation device, I'm assuming. Mountains, stones, ridges, and corridors. Both as architecture and powerful weapon. Oh, so the architecture like literally moves and kind of like fights TDs. That's how, like, for example, I think the boss from the earlier parts of the story, so like when they were fighting and stuff like that, that's how like maybe they got corrupted, because they were like corrupted auto puppets. Can also be deceiving. So the whole city is like a defense device. Same structures transform. Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. Okay. So the architecture itself is a defense system. The sanctum. Top to bottom, okay. Okay, so the sanctum's like the HQ. It looks a little bit similar to like Jinzhou, like Jinzhou's like inner keep. Looks a bit similar to that. Oh, wait. It's like that's kind of like a core, right? Ah. So it's like kind of like a mechanical core, and that's like the symbol of like Mengzhou and the fox, you know. Ministry of War. Okay, that kind of makes sense. So there's a Huaxiu Academy as well. This looks really cool so far. And these are kind of like Chinese, like I think these are shaped like Chinese guardian lions as well. This looks really goddamn cool. Way cooler than Jinzhou, unfortunately. Like, Jinzhou looks pretty bare bones compared to this, which kind of makes sense, because Jinzhou is a pretty young city, I guess. Yeah, what I was really kind of like concerned about as well is that what's underneath this? Why did they need to float? There's probably like the big dangers underneath this. Alright. Western Fang Peak. So there's kind of like southern Yuan Hills. Oh, so it's kind of like city outskirts among the mountains. Okay.
但同样遍布着结构复杂、变化多端的机关。
That kind of looks like the prison. I don't know.
但同样遍布着结构复杂、变化多端的机关。
Oh, so the gate is actually kind of like not part of the city.
机关还藏在山间雾里。
不缭绕。最主要的
This looks really damn cool.
验证玄方城吸引并转移残像。
And I like this this map looks hella big because remember, this is all like in the sky. Wait. Attracting, guiding, transferring TDs into the hold. So there is a prison. I was right, there is a prison. And swarming is probably the person that is connected to that. The Skyworks, verify. So it's kind of like the AI device containing TDs. Are these like prison kind of like pods or something? I don't even know. Southern Young Hills, Rolling Hills. Okay, lots of mechanics molding into nature. Oh, okay. Even the Nexus is kind of very mechanical. Modular scrolls. Yeah, the philosophy of mechanics molds into nature, and I feel like that's like a very like that actually kind of like makes sense. I keep on saying this in this video, I'm sorry. It kind of makes sense because it's a very Chinese philosophy to have.
正是如此，请感兴趣的漂泊者纵情游览，多多探索吧。在3.5版本中，配合玄方地界的特色场景，我们也加入一些富有
Oh, that looks good. This reminds me of like Cho Yun's oh, you can slice bamboo. Holy shit. That actually is really fucking cool, guys. That's pretty fucking cool, guys. Holy shit. Dude, this is like kind of like Mamma Mia, you know, like slicing bamboo, bro. Dude, that's actually kind of baller. That's kind of baller. I can already see there's gonna be tons and tons of like really nice cinematics, because dude, there was like that one scene from like when, you know, like when Choyun fights Geshu Lin, like that setting was bomb. Okay, like this setting was fucking bomb, guys. But you don't have a place in Jinzhou that actually looks like this. Like, that actually looks like this, right? But it looks like with Shanfang, we are finally getting a place that actually feels like China, right? And I think that's kind of like Kuro's intention in like to some capacity. Spring blossoms, autumn moons. Dude, it's not just Chinese wuxia, guys. It's just China, which is like kind of baller. Bro, if they don't drop at least one more memorable thing about Sin in this update, in this live stream, I'm cooked. Wait, we're just cooked. I want to know more about Sin. I'm sorry. Taking the scenery, yeah. Guys, take in the scenery while you can, because I'm pretty sure the next place we're going to is a new Fed. We're gonna be cooked.
不仅如此，在探索过程中还会有丰富的玩法内容等待着漂泊者们的体验。首先，在玩法方庭演武中
Alright, I'll just skip some of the spot to like speed up the live stream. Okay, so this is basically just events, right? Okay. But a lot of the echoes and enemies so far seem to be like the automata mechanic kind of like buildings and stuff. So it seems like there is some kind of forces corrupting them, but again, like we still don't know what that is, which is really weird. Like we don't know what Frenodian or forces like kind of corrupting these buildings and stuff to attack you. So I guess they're kind of like gatekeeping that still. You know what this kind of feels like? It feels like a shadow play. That's really cool. Auto puppets. Yeah, we'll just call them auto puppets now because that's their proper name. This is pretty cool. What?
与这位
Huh? No way. Dungeon finally appears in the story. Dude.
拔刀相助，用自己的方式惩。
Guys, if you guys didn't know, by the way, dude, if you guys didn't know, Dungeon has never appeared in the story. Never. She hasn't even appeared in Jinzhou, but she finally appears here? So was she basically kind of like native to, like, no, I don't think she was made native to Mengzhou, right? Because I'm pretty sure Dungeon is a wanderer. So I'm pretty sure she just happened to meet you. But like, it's so cool that like you finally actually meet her, right? So she's been in Jinzhou for a while. You just never meet her in the story, but you finally meet her within Mengzhou by the looks of it. And it's actually crazy because like you've never seen Dungeon in the story before. So no, like Kaoshiro is different because you have met Kaoshiro in Jinzhou and later in Rinascita when she gets hired, but you've never, ever met Dungeon in the story. Never. She's never appeared. So this is like it's not just that Dungeon's potentially getting story time. This is the first time she's literally being in the story. Like she's never been in the story before, guys. I don't think that like that realization is setting in at the moment. Yeah. So especially since this is an exploration quest, it may mean that we finally get to see where Dungeon appears in the story and you finally get to meet her because you've never met her before. So interesting. Okay. The Ministry of War has always kept a close eye on her. That's sus. Yes, Dungeon hates exiles. If you guys didn't know that from a story, Dungeon hates exiles. She despises them, right? So, yeah, you know, like, ooh, we finally get to see her in the story. It's crazy. You know what? In fact, let me just post it because that's like massive. That's genuinely massive. That is genuinely massive. I gotta post that. Sorry, guys. Give me like 10 seconds. Okay. Like I don't think like the realization is set in yet, guys. This is the first time she's appeared in the story. That's crazy. This is an actual exploration quest. Is this like a character story quest? Like a character, like it says it's an exploration quest, but this may actually be like a full-on character story. Because that's what it feels like to me. Yeah, like look, it even says, enjoy some tea, share favorite Lone Whispers crisp. It literally says in her story, right? This is her favorite food. The Lone Whispers crisp is literally her favorite food, guys. Like, that's crazy, guys. That's crazy. The crazy rewards? Holy shit, dude. This is gonna be like a favorite of that, like those like crazy ass motherfuckers who are still using solo dungeon to clear middle floor tower. Okay, favorite fucking banner of those people. Yeah, like honestly, maybe like if they brought them back as exploration quests, I'd be so happy because I honestly really like character stories when they were there, but like I kind of understand why they became Segue quests, but I'm still sad they went. If they bring them back as character like exploration missions, I'd be down, honestly. Dude, the dungeon mains are gonna be like crying over this, bro. It's like actually crazy. Holy mother. Okay, you know what? Okay, let's talk about this. This is actually crazy. That is crazy. Okay. So I think we talked about this already, but a lot of the echoes are basically just based on the auto puppets, right? So it's the actual name we know now. It's called the auto puppets. But I'm just still confused on why they got corrupted, right? Because assuming that all these auto puppets were created by Sin, the Sentinel, there is some kind of probably like possibly frenoding at work that corrupts them. Because like, how else could you like hack the creations that were made by a Sentinel? I don't even know.
以上这些任务都将带漂泊者深入玄方。
Bustling streets.
丰富的玩具。
地界有位
Okay, we'll just skip through this part because like this is just events.
动能漂移。开启该模式后
Ooh,，
摩托在进行漂移时，
echoes. It's cool. Oh, these are new TDs. Okay, so we'll be facing TDs. Okay. Ah, that reminds me of something, but I can't really name at the moment. Okay. Oh, that looks really cool. And I'm assuming that's the boss that we saw in the trailer, right? That's the boss we saw in the trailer.
多样，结构
Yeah, that's the boss.
有着一种像是
Thousand Puppet Pavilion. Okay.
都有了生命的诡谲玄妙感。
是的，在玄方地界，他们都是漂泊者即将面对的。
Okay.
请漂泊者
Myriad
在
Snare
保
Rust
持警
Fire
惕的同时
Chassis.
也即
Okay.
推出全新的深海和鸣套装。
Free New Snot, Lamp of Never Road.
前往玄方
Castle Discord Nest, okay.
兑换码，请漂泊者们在兑换。
Alright, I'll just let you guys, Mechanism City, I'll let you guys kind of like redeem that. Give you guys 5 seconds. Dude, the dungeon mains are like eating so fucking good, it's crazy. Okay, let's go back.
很久
路有余天在吧。
熟悉的
你过去往来。
Okay, so talk more about Yang Yang, yep.
央呀，这其中有什么？
Ooh, we finally get to know what happened to
可以
her.
提前分享吗？
不知道漂泊者注意到刚刚在画面中
The Rafter Kite.
梁渊了吗？
是 PV 开头在玄方城穿梭的。
Yes, I was right. It's the blue black mechanical bird. I was right.
当然是有注意到的。记得前面2位策划提到过，它出现在了泱泱身
Appeared
边。
alongside Yang
这
Yang.
肯定不是偶然吧？泱泱的新形态与它
It's connected to the Rafter Kite?
其实梁
Oh.
渊不只是机关鸟，它的原型是玄方地界曾经栖息过的一种灵雀，名为
The
玄
Schwanling bird. Okay, so it's literally just called a Schwanling bird, but if you guys don't know, Schwanling just means long feather. It's kind of like long feather in Chinese, azure long feather, right? So azure long feather, basically is just like a reference to the azure wing magpie.
它通体湛蓝，羽色玄黑，可以辨识感情。
So
团聚
okay, sense emotions carry. Unfortunately, Schwanling bird vanished. So she is like kind of like a manifestation of that? Okay. Oh, you know what that reminds me of? To honor their memory, craft the Rafter Kite. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of like the Exoswarm in Lahairoi, because the Exoswarm in sometimes have actually replaced extinct animals. Like for example, what is it? Like what's like the name of the raptor bird that like everyone hates in like Tower of Adversity? Like that raptor bird, I'm pretty sure it's extinct, right? And the only form it now takes is the Exoswarm. So it's kind of similar to that. Serve as a messenger for letters. And what did we talk about with, for example, the Azure Winged Magpie? It is the emissary bird of Shiwangmu, right? That sends letters and messages for the Queen Goddess of the West. Boom! Symbolism already connected.
简单来说，梁渊就是玄灵雀的机关书画。
有些相似呢。
Yang Yang herself?
它本身就是那种
Sensitivity and empathy? Okay, so I don't think...
没错。
Okay, so maybe the Overclock Fury is wrong, or not fully correct. Okay.
就让我们一起在新版本中见证泱泱的成长。
绝境之下，守护之风亦能化为狂澜。泱泱的
Okay.
成长与绝
So,
望
like, it's definitely tied to her emotions,
都将在
but
即将开启的潮
I don't
汐
think she
中
fully, like,
展开
down
那
bad
接下来
Overclock
就
or
让我
something.
重新认识下即将在3.5
Making a
第一
debut?
梁渊引
Okay. So writing letters all the time? Okay. I think we got part of her story already, so Okay, so she lets go of her hat. That's a convenient animation, and it's like she transposes into a letter, which is really interesting because, as we said with the symbolism, a lot of the symbolism has to do with wind and how wind in Chinese culture is like this courier or conveyor of messages. So the fact that she kind of transposes it into letter actually makes a lot more sense than you would think, because that's kind of like what her character's based on symbolically when it comes like these Chinese references.
摘
Okay.
下标志蓝色帽子的泱泱，手持长剑，
Long
由
sword.
细雨山水染上衣衫，
Okay.
发尾的白色雀羽随风息轻扬，有一
So
种
she's
骑
gotten
上山水
more
仗剑
feathers.
天涯的诗意。这个泱泱和以前很不一样。
Hmm.
这一次的经历让他的共鸣能力
Profound
大幅
evolution
进化
in her forties. So it's not really a overclock, it's an evolution.
他已能
It's like, it's not like a second awakening, but it's like an evolution. Okay.
独当一面。
不过在对待伙伴时，他仍是众人熟悉的那个泱泱，温柔坚强。
Yeah, so like she didn't become evil, guys. Like this whole like, oh, Young the GA or something, like you guys can like stop talking about that now.
伴随着同样变强的情绪感知能力，泱泱可以洞悉万物的频率。
The gacha animation power creep is rising. You are correct, my good sir.
频率以及其造成的影响。
空明，补自己往。
保留了
Wait.
一些属于自己的习惯，就比
I
如
think that we was also talked about, but like
从不懈怠。
she has like there's like a wobble in her sword, right? There's a very particular sword that does that. Like usually the swords that like Chinese swords that wobble are used for martial arts.
积水
Because usually like a lot of Chinese
在他
swords
看来
don't
只有手
wobble,
中
by
的
the
剑
way.
足够稳，才能够守护住自己坚强提笔。在他的
Wow,
眼里
like her idol animation is literally just writing letters. I mean, it makes sense because, as we said before, the symbolic background of her whole character is just based on letter writing. So yeah.
不只有问候的话语，还有风的气息、花的颜色、绳结。
泱泱偶尔也会在放松的时候放风筝，它本身就是能。
Not sure. I think Tassimok's globe. I'm not sure. I haven't paid attention to that, to be honest.
又高又稳，它也是
4-day
生活人
evolution,
的
where the
风的
frack's
人
this?
从
Oof.
不怕坠落。风筝飞得再高再远，线始终握在手里，无论走多远都不会走。
Dude, guys. This is idle animation power creep. What do you mean she literally flies a fucking kite in her idle animation? Dude, how am I supposed to film this for a video, bro? What the fuck? What? Bro, Kura's killing me, bro. What is this?
剑
Oh my
当
days.
下，信连接远方，风筝系着
He
牵挂。
flies
泱泱一直在用自己的方式。
like
把
that.
温柔
How does that
的
even
风筝
work when it
在
comes to like
边
just
试图成为保护他人的
like
力量
integrating into the
那么接
map?
下来就让我们一同。
Okay, at least this idle animation will be easy to film. Thank God. But like,
湮
bro.
灭属性的五行
5-star Havoc Resonator,
战斗
okay.
风格潇洒利落，攻守切换从容自如。在他原本共鸣能力
Very,
上现在的
yeah, like very martial arts. Like the as I said before, her sword is like very focused. It's like a martial arts sword.
泱泱会运用两
Two distinct
套
sword
剑法
stances.
交互出招一套迅猛凌厉，步步紧逼；一套游走自如
Graceful and
身法
nimble.
轻盈
Okay,
剑锋划过之处，蓝色流丝与金色光痕交织。
interesting.
翠羽般的拖尾
A lot of
勾勒
birds
出她
as well.
敏捷而优雅的身姿。泱泱的共鸣技能可以让他以快速的身法向着敌人突进，同时切换。
I'm really interested in her liberation because her liberation has her call something down from the sky.
剑士节奏，释放强
And I want to know what exactly that is.
瞬间恢复所有留下，并获得特殊能量。
Azure Plume. Azure Plume is kind of like what Xuanling is, by the way, if you translate that into English. It's not a perfect translation, but it's the best we
特殊
got.
能量苍灵累计满2点，泱泱携巨大的闪电
Massive
风暴
lightning
一闪
storm
而
to
下
crash
火焰
down.
空中雀羽纷飞，化身为
Okay, so is it lightning?
释放共鸣解放时
Resonance
泱泱引导
liberation.
玄灵
Calls
剑
upon the
召唤
to
风暴
summon a tempest. So it's a
玄灵
storm.
政治狂澜骤起，对敌人造成
Oh, so it's unleashing a storm. So it basically it's calling upon like it's not really calling down from heaven, it's just calling down a storm. Okay, that makes a lot more sense because I'll be kind of confused if it was like calling something down from heaven because I would have to go into like symbolism of like, you know, like Shi Wangmu and stuff like that, which is like kind of annoying. But yeah. Okay. Oh, she changes weather. Oh, so it's like Hiyuki. She has a weather change effect just like Hiyuki. God damn. Yeah, that's kind of like character power creep, guys. Azure Oath. Okay, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think we need to talk about that much about that. Pretty self-explanatory. Weather power creep, exactly. We're cooked. It's like, what is that meme? It's like in like, I was like wondering waves, like how do I even skip one character? Alright, we'll just skip past this because we need to talk about, of course, Suisui. Bro. Wow, okay. Okay. I mean, she runs a merchant guild, so... I think I talked about Suisui a lot already. Okay, looks like... okay, looks like they are sisters. I talked a lot about Suisui already in the previous video. So, like, for example, her symbolism of, like, fans and stuff like that, I won't talk about again. Wears many hats. Noble woman. Look, I'm pretty sure I talked about this already, but I think Yang Yang and Suisui's family are actually pretty rich. Alright, okay. A lot of people are interested in this one as well. So she has a different bird. I haven't been able to figure out what her bird exactly is, but we have seen, for example, some like inspirations. I feel like she has like this, she definitely does a lot of like the water sleeve dance. Oh, what is it called? It's like this water sleeve dance within kind of like Chinese opera, but she also has like this, she has like the kind of like flying, like kind of like some of the moves of the, like the flying aspara within, for example, what is it? But like it was like the cave paintings in Gansu. There's like this kind of like cave paintings where there's a lot of like the moves that she performs is similar to cave paintings found in some Chinese provinces as well. So yeah. Dazzling charm. Enjoys making money. Zhao Ming comments commerce skills. That's a new thing. Okay. Okay, so she's a stock trader. Alright. Alright. Because we know as well, like, from her drip marketing, she's associated with minting. So, like, she's coming here temporarily. Sleeping on the scroll. I think we've seen these before. Like, I think we've seen kind of like the scrolls and stuff before already. So yeah, okay. I kind of just want to wait. Oh, the Chongming bird. Okay, that was one of the questions I had. So that makes sense. Chongming bird. Okay. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I'll have to kind of like look at it because I wasn't fully sure on what real bird this is based on, because I'm like basically 100% sure that Yang Yang's bird is like the azure winged magpie, but I don't know what this bird is. Amusing name, dumpling. Jiaozi. So it's Jiaozi. Okay. That's kind of like cooked. Okay. Oh, so she can draw. Damn, art degree right there. Art degree right there. The soul artist. Okay, bro. Okay, bro. Okay, bro. Put the fries in the bag. Let's see the combats. Glacier, yeah, we knew that already. I think a lot of people were like kind of like hypothesizing she's a support character. Okay.
的共鸣技能会让他在水上
A lot of it's kind of like what we expect. Like she's using water. She like there's a lot of like a motif of like traditional paintings and stuff like that. But what of it? I'm still really interested in the Hongbing bird, right? Because both sisters have birds. Like we already talked about the Schwanling bird with Yang Yang and how like that is like kind of like linked to the azure wing magpie, but I don't know so much about Sui Sui's bird. I need to kind of like do some research into that. But we've seen kind of like this already with some like the footage before. Sui Sui's outro skill triggers. Oh, so she stays on field, on the field. Grants additional buffs. Oh, okay, that's really cool. So she stays on field. It's like for Lova, but like support. First Lights Herald. Oh, okay. I feel like I know what this is. I'm pretty sure, like, okay, so I was actually hypothesizing before that Yang Yang's bird was a crane, but I actually think that based on this weapon, this is definitely a crane, guys. This is definitely a crane. First Lights Herald. If you guys didn't know, there's actually multiple types of cranes in Chinese culture. And the thing with like Chinese cranes is that they are all of like different colors and they evolve as they grow older, right? So I think that possibly like Sui Sui here, her crane is either yellow or blue, right? But regardless of that, the general kind of like symbolism of cranes being kind of like wise, kind of like fortuitous animals still stays the same. Because if you guys didn't know, I did talk about this. The crane is the second most powerful bird in Chinese culture under the Fenghuang. So, yeah, or the Chinese phoenix. So, that's definitely, like, guys, that's definitely a crane, bro. Like, okay. That kind of clears my questions as to what Sui Sui's potential symbolisms may be. Because Yang Yang doesn't have a crane, but Sui Sui definitely seems to have a crane. Which is really interesting. Really interesting. That is like also like as he said here, this is kind of like some crazy like weapon sig power creep. Little bird resting in the glow of the sunset. Oh, so it's like kind of like dawn sunset motifs. Beloved mechanical bird. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Blue and gold. Okay, so blue and gold. Yep. So blue and gold are both colors. Two of the four colors of cranes. Yeah. So I think like the colors are blue, gold, black, and white, if I recall correctly. Golden eyes. Okay. That is some signature weapon power creep. The Four Seas turn card. So if you guys didn't know, by the way, the Four Seas is kind of like this sort of like it's a description of the world in Chinese culture. Alright. And we also Electro Rover is pretty important. Power of Electro. Fourth unlockable attribute. Highly new combat style. Ooh. Okay, so it applies electro flares. Is that like kind of like? Is it gonna be like similar like a support? Because we don't have an electro flare character yet. Shield, sharp blade, cross. Okay, so it has 3 weapons in one, which kind of makes sense because it's like the automata mechanics, right? So that looks really cool. That looks really cool. Wait, it actually has like a shield parry mechanic as well. Rover gains immunity when they have the shield up is pretty big, especially for some enemies.
伴随着漂泊者的攻击命中敌人，漂泊者会累积
Forte Gorge energy.
漂泊者导电的功能技能会携着雷光冲向敌人，此时可进行派生攻击。漂泊者会在腾空后手握雷电砸向地面，激光活子的纹路在脚下铺展，整片地面为之一震。当特殊能量充满后，可点按释放强化共鸣技能，穿梭于战场之中聚集怪物。此后切换队友，队友将会获得一定时间的攻击加成，或者能量为己所用。
Consume the Forte Gorge.
共鸣技能爆发雷电能量进入过载状态。
Overload state.
漂泊者的共鸣技能将替换为融合了眼。
Wait, so it has two kind of states? Wait. Combines the powers of Spectro, Havoc, and Arrow. Am I reading that right? Holy shit. What the fuck? We already had 3 weapon forms, and now we have 3 elements in one? The fuck? Wait, can I see this in action? Wait, that was the Arrow... That's like Arrow Rover's attack. Oh, and wait, and that was Spectro Rover's like... That was just Arrow Rover's attack. And that was Havoc Rover's... That is crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Summons and Lightnings of Heaven and Earth. If you guys don't know what that means, Lightning of Heaven and Earth. Lightning is a really powerful force within Chinese culture because it's seen that lightning is something that comes down from heaven and provides like this way to banish and exorcise demons, which is something that you saw quite a lot in Buling's character, but you're going to see that quite a lot here as well, I'm assuming. Yeah, so like, see how they kind of like call down lightning from the sky, right? Like in that shot? They call down lightning from the sky. That is a very, if you guys didn't know, that's actually very China coded. Because you call down lightning from heaven, like, the gods provide you lightning that mortals can use to exorcise, like, demons or something. That looks really cool, by the way. Yeah. That is some rover power creep, that's for sure. Crazy power creep. Like, if, like, honestly, look, it kind of makes sense though, because like, if you're gonna like make Rover take on a new element in the China region, lightning's a pretty good approach, because lightning's pretty important in Chinese culture. Alright, new redemption code. I'll let you guys kind of like claim that. Alright, I think the third part of the live stream usually we don't watch too much of, because like we're more focused on the lore, so we will kind of like not talk, like skip through it a little bit. But we'll see. Events. Okay. Okay, we'll skip through that. Look. Okay. There's an Ameth rerun? Actually, you know, like, that kind of, like, makes a lot of sense. Because if you didn't pull Ameth, and then you pull, like, Denny or something, like, a lot of people want Ameth. Like, okay, that kind of makes sense, whatever. Sure. Wait. Oh, okay, so you get, like, you get a chance to get these again. Okay, that's cool. Okay. I might, like, honestly, from this, like, I might even just, I might just pull a String Master, because, like, when String Master first came along, I didn't have a chance to pull it. Okay, that's cool. Bro, what's this event? Okay, so camera events. Black Shore, special train. I think we've had this event before. Yeah, we've had this event before. Flower, okay, so that's a new cosmetic. Cool. New skins, okay. Sorry, I'm just kind of like under the impression now, since I'm recording, this might be like a 2-hour video or something, so I don't wanna reach that point. I'm sorry, guys, but we'll just kind of quickly see. Wait.
比如技能和武器素材会根据武器种类做筛选。
此外，3.5版本合成新增拟合功能，通过消耗材料再生之蕊，可以拟合在过往版本中分布于荆州、黑海岸、黎纳西塔地区的，用于角色突破。
Guys, I'm not a new player, right? But I have heard a lot of new players complaining that they can't get fucking flowers. And if this is what I think it is, this is a really massive QOL change for new players. Because there's two things, if you guys didn't know, like, I'm assuming a lot of you guys are like kind of like older players. If you guys didn't know, there's two things that new players can't really get right now. The first one is boss materials. The second is fucking flowers. They can't get flowers because you get flower boxes as part of like some of your new new player startup stuff, but this is huge. Especially because if you're a new player and you just pull like Aimif for some shit and you can't level her up because of flowers, this might be like literally the difference between you being able to build a character or not. Like, this is massive. Like, this is actually massive for new players. That's actually like, because this was like one of the biggest complaints for like the longest time. And I'm like, honest, even if I'm not a new player, it's really good to see that Kuro is addressing this, because there's definitely been an influx of new players from, for example, the Cyberpunk collab. When they see this, like, and yeah, like also as well, like, this is just good for like old players in general, because I think they said you can just buy this from the shop, like Oscillated Coral Store, like, which is not the best, but it's better than nothing, right? Like, it's literally better than nothing. It's not the best to get from the Coral Shop, but it's better than nothing. And like, it's good for everybody, but especially for new players, it's a really good feature. It's like, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's definitely an upgrade from nothing. I like that.
万物图鉴内的千般强敌，数据屋内的深海图鉴也将迎来一项优化，深海以及敌人的图鉴展探索在3.5。
Okay, so there's kind of like some stuff.
性能还有客户端的优化。
Oh, okay.
在3.5版本。
So optimization. Rover looks better. I think people have already talked a lot about this, but yeah, Rover's model is getting updated, and
.3.5版本的明朝 PC 端也将会使用英特尔显卡的漂泊者。
I think this is like, I think most people are going to use like DLSS if you have NVIDIA cards though. Okay. Clean up some space. Oh, they changed the icon. Oh, that's actually like really cool. That's actually really cool. Okay. It actually changed the icon of the game. That's crazy. That's actually kind of crazy. But it makes a lot of sense because technically, you know, like, it is a new icon. It is a new icon. So as Yang Yang has embraced growth, the game has also grown. That's a pretty parallel, nice message. Will remain. Oh, it only stays for the duration of the version. Oh, okay, so it's temporary, but I think it's still it's a pretty cool feature. Oh, and there's a new kind of like menu. And I think like this new menu is really interesting because I'm pretty sure that was the menu from the that one trailer. Hold on, actually, I can just like go here. That one trailer. Where was that one trailer? Where was that one trailer? Like this one. Like I think it came from here. No, not this. Sorry, not this. It was, where was it? Oh yeah, here it was. This one. It looks like it came from like here somewhere. Yeah, like it came like somewhere like from here or something, you know, like stuff and things like that. Like I feel like that kind of like atmosphere came from that trailer. But yeah.
那么以上就是对3.5
Oh.
版本中即将更新的优化情报了。接下来应该聊
Up
聊明
next,
朝
brand
带下来
activities.
本次巡回演唱会
I won't kind of like go over this because that's kind of like just stuff we don't really talk about. But I will skip to the code though. And this is the last code. And that should actually really just bring us to the end of the stream and all the important things we need to talk about. So it has been basically quite a long time, like I think the video is like 1.5 hours at this point. So if you guys are watching after the stream for the video, hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next video. But I'll just quickly stop the stream. Give me a second, guys. But for the people here, I'll just quickly kind of like play to the end of the stream as well. If you guys, hold on, give me a second. But yeah, there shouldn't be much else, but we'll see. If there's anything at the very end.
将于
亲自日。
拜拜。
Okay, so there's a little bit like ending animation, but hopefully. Oh wait, if you guys remember, this was like the old Yang kind of like playing the drums at the end of the stream. They made a new one. Ah. But anyway, hope you guys had a good one with the stream react. Shrungfang looks really fucking dope. I really want to see more of Sin, but I guess we won't get that just yet. Anyway, hope you guys will have a good one, and I see you guys in the next video or so. Have a good one.